I cannot tell you how many times I've been shopping with a client and I pick out what I think is a really cute top for her, and she gives me the side eye and goes, "Yeah, I don't think so. I don't do sleeveless. I hate my arms." And every time I'm like, "Okay, hang on, because I get it. I've been doing hair for 40 years and my arms have been on display my entire career. And I attempt to train 4 times a week, and still they're as soft as can be. So instead of hiding behind long sleeves all year, let me show you a subtle but impactful shift that can make shorter sleeves feel a lot more flattering. So every time I hear I hate my arms, this is not actually about your arms. It's what the top is doing to your arms. That is exactly the kind of shift I like to make for the clients that I work with, especially as we move into the warmer weather and we finally are able to put away our winter sweaters, or even if your own internal thermostat spikes to inferno heat at any moment. There has to be a way to wear something with a shorter sleeve that still gives you that feeling of comfortable, but still also looks very flattering, even if you feel like you hate your arms. Because on one side, you have sleeveless, and yes, your arms are fully out, and that can feel vulnerable. And it's not that different from, how it feels when something else is feeling too exposed. You wouldn't have your butt cheeks hanging out. You'd fix that right away because your instinct is to cover that. Having everything hanging out just can feel really uncomfortable. So, of course, you would reach for something with a sleeve if you felt that way too. And it just feels like the safer option. And it should help, and it can help if you're aware of how the sleeve is actually sitting on your arm. Because even though you are more covered, the way the sleeve sits can actually draw more attention, right? Maybe where you don't want it. This shows up in more moments than you think. And not just when you're getting dressed casually, everyday stuff. It shows up in moments you actually want to feel put together, whether that is weather dictated or something like a special event. And instead, you're thinking about your arms and what you can wear and how not to draw attention to them and how it changes what you choose, because it changes what you reach for. And sometimes it changes how you show up. So here's what I want you to see. I'm going to show you the example on me, and I'm going to keep everything the same, and I'm just going to change out the top. Because when you keep buying basics, most of what is out there is made just like the tops that I've got that I'm going to show you. Very straight and very simple. And it's the same basic short sleeve. And I have a ton of them. Maybe you do too. And some I reach for more often than others. And maybe you do too. Maybe you've got those ones you put on and you're not really sure why you don't like them. So this is just a simple way to see where the sleeve is hitting on your arm and see how we can make it more flattering just by doing a small, simple adjustment. Okay, as you can see, this line goes directly across the widest part of my arm. So when we're looking at it sideways, it cuts directly across. You can see it looking straight on, very obvious. And what it's also doing is adding more width across my chest line. Now, I'm not the largest chested woman out there, but when we look at the line that's going right across, it can really widen this entire section. It makes me feel very boxy, and it's not a shirt that I reach for. As much as I love the color, I could never really understand why I dislike this as much as I do. And a lot of it had to do with how it was sitting against my arm, how it was making me feel very boxy, and how just overall just didn't feel very flattering. Okay, let's look at this shirt. Now, something so simple as where the sleeve line falls makes all the difference in the world. This is one of my all-time favorite shirts. And when I really stop to think about it, it doesn't make me feel as if my arms look wider. Now, the thing about this type of shirt, it gives me that feeling of being with a sleeve, not really having a sleeve, not as vulnerable as a tank top, but is much more flattering. That softer diagonal line, which is really quite a sharp edge, quite frankly, but it really is more flattering on my arm. I feel a lot more flattering. Same arm, same body, nothing's really changed. But we can see that it just doesn't draw across that arm, making me feel wider. So When I stand straight to the mirror, I'm feeling this is really attractive. This isn't making me feel like it's adding the width the way the other one did. So when you go into your closet and you're looking at your tops, just start noticing where some of the short sleeve t-shirts are hitting, right? Where are they hitting on your arm? Are they hitting in the widest part around your bicep? Are they a little bit on an angle? Do you favor some over others? Because, did you realize there was even an angle to them? Just observe what you have. And if everything you own is cutting straight across, like the first example that I showed you, well, that just kind of makes sense because that's how a lot of these basic t-shirts are designed. A lot of short sleeve shirts are made basically in the most simplistic way. So if you want to figure out which one is the most flattering to you when you're at a store, just hold them up and see if you can decide there's an angle in the sleeve, and maybe you can determine whether or not that's the ideal look and line that you're going for. Now, here's the other piece, because this is not the only place this shows up. There's another pattern in how you're getting dressed. And it usually sounds like, I just need to lose a bit of weight first before I buy anything new, before I figure out my style, before I try to make this work. And that's what we're going to get into in the next video.